Oh, I may be in trouble. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh overview. Today, let's take a look at the Diamond Marvel Select Titanium Man. I don't do a lot of Marvel Select. I'm 1/12, and even though Marvel Legends skews a little larger, Marvel Select skews even larger than that. But every now and then, they make a character who is supposed to be large in 1/12 scale that I can fudge from Marvel Select over to that display. So when this popped up on Amok Time for about 30 bucks, I thought that's a hell of a deal. Look at the size of this package, and I had seen comparisons of the figure itself. That's a lot of plastic. Just felt worth it to me. So here we go. Looking at the package, it's what we've seen from Marvel Select forever. Even when the figures are smaller, they put it inside this so it'll be uniform across a shelf in case you keep these in package. And I guess they keep them big for big things like this. Titanium Man, picture from the comics, shows everything you get. You can see the other hand down there. On the back, pretty promotional shot of the figure. They kept that one with the backwards bicep up there. There's the unmasked head. I'm not going to make any Dan Larson jokes. Bio for Titanium Man, logos, proof of purchase. Maybe someday we can snip these and send in for a free figure. On the other side, beautiful comic art of Titanium Man crushing Iron Man. On the bottom, oh, well, nothing. More bubble. So, let's rip this open. I'm not used to blisters and peeling it off and opening it up. What's in the booklet? Oh, checklist. I have that, Thor. I like it. On the back, even more twist ties. So much trash around my plastic. Okay, we're not going to be able to get this whole thing on camera at the same time until we get to pictures and standing up here. You wanted some close-ups, right? The overall figure, intimidating. That's a good word for it. It's big, it's chunky, it's heavy, it's brutal looking, I guess, in a way. But classic feeling. These studs, there for no reason other than to spruce things up in the comics. I love it. And for a suit of armor, having a skirt piece and then these coming out here is also a weird choice now that we're looking through it through modern eyes. But back then and now, for those of us who love this classic kind of stuff, it works so well. A lot of smooth parts, again, evoking comics from back in the old days, but then details running across. It's all nicely sculpted in. These big bands over the shoulder. A sleeve coming down over the metal protected muscles, I guess. Already talked about the studs, but we're going to look at them again. Look at them in the sheen. Oh, so beautiful. Simulated abs on the outside of the armor, which I've never thought of before, but now that I'm holding it in hand, stuff like that jumps out at you. Belt piece coming around, and it has the raised edge along with these half bars coming down on the skirt piece, and that continues down onto the leg. Again, with the smoothness, just musculature shining through down to the bands around the legs, top of the boot, whatever you want to call those. Plain looking boots, but look down at the bottom. Well, okay, first I want to point out the paint is all a nice shiny metallic green. There's a depth to it. There's reflections, there's shine, and you kind of lose the detail there, but we're talking about an armored character, so in this case, it kind of works. I say kind of works. It works completely. I don't know why I said kind of. There's darker greens to the hands and to the feet, and it's almost lickable. Look how smooth that is. But you get to the bottom, and it has these silverish gray soles, spiky. You don't want this guy stomping on you. I mean, even if this was flat, if this was scale, 7, 8, 9, 10 feet tall, you still don't want him stepping on you because of the weight. This make it hurt more, right? Guess that's for traction too if he's running along snow banks. On the back, a lot of the same details as continues around. There's the banding. Oh wait, what's wrong with the leg? Rotate, line that up, rotate. Okay, yeah. But the back of the skirt, the belt, kind of some rivets or bolts holding the belt together. Could you imagine suiting up in this thing? Shh, bzz, 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 you're stuck. I don't know if that's for a stand. It seems like a small peg for such a heavy, big figure. And then up at the head, I did put the helmeted head on because I feel like that's the piece I was looking for, even though the unmasked head was on it in the package. But looking at this, again, the green continues on down. It looks seamless, part of the overall figure. Have these air intakes on the side. I'm assuming they're air intakes. It seems like a classic design element where the air flows in. And then almost a unicorn type blast thing up on top. It was the face in promo images that threw me off until I reminded myself by going back and looking at the comic images that a lot of the time his face did look like an emoji. Again, classic design element. works into the overall piece. Select has done an excellent job of translating that into modern action figure with all the articulation, all the nice sculpt, all the nice paint. I have hit a couple of snags though that don't really take away from it, but I feel the need to point them out. You saw just now where it looked like the hinge came up to the inside and the foot, or well, the detailing was off like this. The ankle does rotate side to side above the hinge, so you just got to do a little fiddling, get everything lined up. There's also a bicep swivel and then a hinge and swivel at the elbow, which is, it's fine, but that's how they got this turned around backwards in the promo images. It's an easy thing to do if you're not paying attention. There also seems to be paint on the joints. On the left side, I don't have much of a problem because it seems to not have an edge. But on the right side, you can already see it, can't you? The first time I tried to move the elbow, the paint peeled off. It snagged it and just zip, and it looks like the plastic underneath is about the same green. Well, hell, it may still be shiny too. Let's peel that off, see what happens. Nah, it's not super noticeable. Not any more noticeable than any other joint, you know? It's also doing it on the hinge of the hand right there. Go ahead and pull that band-aid. There it stands out just slightly more because of how dark the hand is. Also, I've already seen people start to do the articulation trick here where you pop the upper torso off, Dremel out some extra room so it'll crunch because there's not really any forward to the ball joint there. Well, that's a dumbbell joint probably. Speaking of articulation, up here there is a dumbbell joint at the neck, and they left enough space for it to get pretty nice movement. Can look up a bit, can look down. Oh. Swivel, arm pegs in, that allows for rotation around. It does kick out because of that shoulder pad. Hinge hidden under this piece, I suppose. It comes up to almost 90. Bicep swivel, hinge and swivel at the elbow comes up to 90. Then that rotates in and out. Swivel at the wrist, hinge in and out quite tight. Ball joint mid-torso does hula hoop and arcs back. Again, just not a lot of forward. Unless it's locked up, I don't think there is a swivel at the waist. The skirt is a softer material. It does come up, and also there's flaps on the side, and then the back does the same thing. But under there is a ball coming out to the hip, allows for this much. Back, out. Well, that's better than some Spider-Mans. There's also a swivel at the thigh, just barely hidden under there. The thigh joints, both sides, are stuck. Okay, I went to heat it up, turned around, and I thought, one more time, let's try it. And I did get the left loosened. It breaks the hell out of the sculpt, but again, it's hidden under there, so it doesn't really matter. Hinge and swivel at the knee comes up 290 and then rotates in and out. Rotation right above the ankle. Hinge at the ankle goes back, forward facing pin for rocker. Oh, and I just tore the hell out of the paint down there too. Is that on both sides? Yep. That's coming off. For accessories, Titanium Man comes with 2 fists. Those pop out easy. And then you can swap on the 2 taking over the world villain hands. And then, like we already saw in the package, the head easily pops off, and you can swap on this unmasked head. Boris is not the prettiest man. He's got a luscious beard though, and it comes across nice in plastic form. The skin tone seems a bit mottled. It's got a lot of red and kind of, and I think, is it molded in green? Yeah. You can see some of the green tones through the skin. Boris stands at about slightly over 9.5 inches tall. Like I said, I don't do a lot of Marvel Select unless they fit in with my 1/12 collection or they just catch my eye, like the Marvel Select Gamora and Drax. Candy Axe must not lick. Here he is with the Marvel Select Destroyer, which is an awesome figure, and the Marvel Select Groot, which may be my favorite version of Groot. But like I said, I'm a 1/12 guy. Here he is with a couple of Marvel Legends Iron Mans. And before you start calling me crazy, Boris was 11 feet tall in the comics, so this is actually slightly short for your 1/12 collection. To me, it's a big figure. It's bigger than these. It's bulkier. It looks beautiful. Hell, you can even use the unmasked head in this scale and it works. He doesn't quite outsize the new Marvel Legends Infinity Saga Ironmonger, but he's bigger than a lot of the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figures. Oh, but this is what we're looking for, right? That winter guard. This totally works for me. Well, okay. I would take a more classic Crimson Dynamo, but I really like this design once we got it in plastic form. And then, of course, we need Vanguard. I know there's more members, but for me, Vanguard, it would make this team. I did hit the right leg with some heat, freed up that joint. So now I can rotate the knee all the way forward. That means when I put the knees both facing straight back, these line up on the side. Well, for the most part. I also pop the torso apart. It's an easy heat and pop. You hot water, hot air, heat gun, hair dryer, whatever. It only takes a little bit of warming to get it popped off. And then what I did there was come in with a Dremel and grind out this ring around the dumbbell joint on the front. What you're wanting is a groove so that the peg of the dumbbell joint has clearance to move forward more. You don't want to take out too much or that ball will pop apart every time you move it. So you just want not the width of the ball, but the width of the stick. This is getting kinkier by the moment. This is what it looked like before, not a super amount of clearance. It moved forward. I'm moving it back, of course, but it moved about that much. Now it goes really far. And it doesn't give you a super amount. I think before it got to about in the abs somewhere right there. Now I can come forward and cover 2 of the abs. Again, it's not much, but every little bit of crunch helps. Also, when you're heating things up, be careful with the soft material of the skirt piece because you can warp it. Oh, at the end of the day, I am completely happy with this purchase. Seems like a lot of plastic for the money. It's $30 for 9.5 inches of action figure. Beautifully sculpted, nicely articulated. The paint is awesome with its sheen. There's not a lot to it, but there is gradations. There's darker and lighter greens. It's a shame about the peeling of the paint on the joints, though. At least they made the joints underneath greenish color. It's still noticeable, but not as bad as it could have been, I guess. Especially for $30. Every time, and it's few and far between, but every time I pick up a Marvel Select figure like this for that price, I think, man, this is another one of those figures I can just pick up and conk somebody on the head. A home intruder or something. Get out of my house. For some reason, I've been on an Iron Man kick lately. It may be because of all the awesome Iron Mans we've been getting, but I'm so tickled to get this and fit it in with the rest of the collection. I'm actually working on a custom Crimson Dynamo that's not quite accurate, but a bit more classic feeling. Diamond, if you want to give us a Crimson Dynamo too, I'd be more than happy to take it. So if you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. You want things to be in scale, and you want them to be big and intimidating and imposing on the shelf, and then you put it there and you realize, oh, I could have put 2 or 3 figures in that same space. But that's really digging for something to gripe about. End of the day, oh yeah, this is amazing on the shelf.